You're watching TAG TV.
Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 1st of February. Indian government steps up rural funding, cuts tax in pre-election budget. Indian Air Force's fighter jet crashes in southern India, 2 pilots killed. And US President says will bring troops home if peace deal happens with Afghan Taliban. And now for all the details. India's acting Finance Minister Piyush Goyal tabled the interim budget for 2019-20 in the Indian Parliament on Friday, announcing 750 billion rupees to support farm incomes and reducing the tax burden for middle-class voters. This is Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led government's last budget before the general elections this year.
India's acting Finance Minister Piyush Goyal tabled the interim budget for 2019 to 2020 in the Indian Parliament on Friday, announcing 750 billion rupees to support farm incomes and reducing the tax burden for middle-class voters. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led government's last budget before the general election this year allocated 600 billion rupees for a rural jobs program and 190 billion for building of roads in the countryside. The budget proposal reduced the burden for the middle class by raising the income tax threshold from 250,000 rupees to 500,000.
We are poised to become a $5 trillion economy in the next 5 years, and we aspire to become a $10 trillion economy in the next 8 years thereafter.
In an interview to news agency Asian News International or ANI later in the day, Goyal said the government's plan in the interim budget to offer direct cash support to farmers has been introduced as a supplemental income to them. The interim budget has also allocated more funds for rural jobs guarantee scheme and rural development like building roads and homes.
Please don't misunderstand this. This is something that is being given back to them for the work that they've done, as a respect for the work that they're doing. And please look at the past. Never before has anybody bothered about the farmers as much as Prime Minister Modi.
The Finance Minister said the budget would put the fiscal deficit for the year ending on March 31st at 3.4% of gross domestic product or GDP, slightly higher than the targeted 3.3%.
An Indian Air Force Mirage 2000 trainer aircraft crashed in India's southern Bengaluru city on Friday, immediately after taking off, killing both pilots. The plane crashed at the edge of the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited airport compound, which is surrounded by several offices and residential buildings. One out of the 2 pilots died at the scene of the crash, while the other, who was taken to a nearby hospital, succumbed to his injuries later. The cause of the crash was not immediately known. In a similar incident on Monday, IAF's Jaguar fighter jet crashed in northern Uttar Pradesh province. Fortunately, no casualties were reported in that incident. In news from Pakistan, Pakistan's Information and Broadcasting Minister Fawad Chaudhry on Thursday said that former President Asif Ali Zardari has a solid place on the exit control list. A total of 32 persons, including Zardari, are facing trial for money laundering of over rupees 35 billion from fictitious accounts.
Pakistan's Information and Broadcasting Minister Fawad Chaudhry on Thursday said that Pakistan People's Party co-chairman Asif Ali Zardari has a solid place on the Exit Control List or ECL. Addressing a press conference after the Federal Cabinet meeting, Chaudhary said that the cabinet had reviewed 172 names on ECL and 32 cases have been sent to a committee for review. Pakistan's former President Zardari and his sister Faryal Talpur are facing trial in a banking court in a money laundering case. A total of 32 people have been accused, including Zardari and Talpur, in relation to money laundering of over Rs 35 billion from fictitious accounts. A civil review petition has also been filed by Zardari, challenging the Supreme Court's decision to transfer the case to National Accountability Bureau, saying no direct evidence was found against them. The banking court is scheduled to hear the money laundering case on February 14th.
US President Donald Trump has said that he would bring all American troops back from Afghanistan if there was a peace deal with the Taliban. Trump's comments came days after reports that the US and the Taliban had agreed on a draft framework of a peace deal aimed at ending the 17-year-long Afghan conflict.
US President Donald Trump on Thursday said he would bring American troops home if a peace deal was reached to end 17 years of war in Afghanistan. The United States and the Taliban have sketched the outlines for an eventual peace accord, a US special envoy said on Monday, but there was no sign the insurgent group had accepted key US demands. The announcement by the US president comes after Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, in a letter to Trump, asked him to slow down the withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan and suggested cutting costs for the US where possible, reports said.
A tremendous amount of good things are happening. You even look at what's going on, and I can't tell you that this is a guarantee because we're going into close to 19 years in being in Afghanistan. And for the first time, they're talking about settling. They're talking about making an agreement. And we bring our people back home. If that happens, we'll see what happens. But they're in very serious negotiations for the first time. There's a reason for that. So I think we're doing so well on a foreign policy basis.
Meanwhile, according to US Special Envoy Zalmay Khalilzad, US negotiators and Taliban representatives had agreed in principle on a draft framework for peace during the talks in Doha, local media reported. Until now, the Taliban has refused to sit with the Afghan government, which it sees as illegitimate. However, they have held 4 rounds of talks with the US since last year.
More on news from Afghanistan. In order to attract the next generation of Afghanistan towards education, a young Afghan man has set up a studio of children's books in capital Kabul. Hamid, who himself is a writer, aims to solve the social problems in his country, starting with educating the younger generation.
For the education of the next generation of Afghanistan, a young Afghan man has drawn and published a number of children's books which are popular locally. Hamid, who is also a writer of children's books himself, has set up a studio with the books which cost only 20 Afghani each so that most of local families can afford them. Hamid's studio has 19 staff members including writers and painters.
و مشکلات اخلاقی را داشتن یا مشکلات اجتماعی را داشتن، یگانه راه حل از اصلاح سن طفولیت بود و ما آمدیم بالای همین موضوع کار کردیم که برای طفلا باید همین اصلاحات به بار بیاید و همچنان اصلاح نصاب تعلیمی معارف افغانستان.
In just 1 year since the studio was set up, nearly 50,000 children's books have been printed which are written in Dari, Pashto and English with color illustrations. For parents in other countries, it is a usual thing to read storybooks for their children. But there is a scarcity of children's books in the turbulent Afghanistan.
A Guinness World Record was created by nearly 5,000 school children on Thursday who gathered in India's western Mumbai city wearing helmets. They also created awareness among the people about the benefits of wearing helmets while riding two-wheelers.
Nearly 5,000 school children on Thursday gathered in India's western Mumbai city wearing helmets and got their names registered in the Guinness Book of Records. The children broke the previous world record for largest gathering of people wearing helmets that was set by a crowd of 3,929 people in Abu Dhabi in 2016. They also sensitized the people about road safety rules besides educating them about the benefits of wearing helmets while riding two-wheelers.
I came here today from London to witness the attempt for the largest gathering of people wearing helmets. The previous record was set in the UAE on 13 March 2016 by 3,929 people. I'm happy to confirm that the new Guinness Record title for the largest gathering of people wearing helmets is now 4,999 people.
हमारा मकसद था कि वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड में हमारे यहाँ पर वर्ल्ड को ये बताने no helmet, no ride.
Road accidents are a common sight in India, where youngsters usually ride motorbikes without helmets. Reckless driving and untrained drivers cause thousands of accidents a year, according to reports by the Transport Department.
A 5-day-long kite festival was recently organized on the banks of river Brahmaputra in India's northeastern Guwahati city, in which kite flyers displayed their skills and dotted the skies with vibrant hues. The event was part of the Save Brahmaputra campaign and sensitized people about the ecological challenges faced by the river.
A 5-day-long kite festival was recently organized on the banks of river Brahmaputra in Guwahati city of India's northeastern Assam province. The 8th edition of the kite flying festival, locally known as Sila Noi, witnessed participation of kite flyers from different parts of the province who filled the Guwahati skies with vibrant hues. The event was organized as part of the Save Brahmaputra campaign to create awareness among the people for keeping the river clean and refrain from throwing garbage on its banks.
काइट फेस्टिवल मैंने ये फर्स्ट टाइम आज देखा यहाँ पे, बहुत अच्छा लगा और खास तौर पे इतना अच्छा से मतलब हमने भी आके यहाँ पे बहुत एंजॉय किया। और दूसरी बात बोलना चाहते हैं कि मेरा बच्चा लोग ने बहुत अच्छा किया।
तो हम चाहते हैं कि नदी के किनारे इस तरह का माहौल बने। तो 8 साल में हम देख रहे हैं कि हर साल लोकप्रियता बढ़ रही है, करीब 20-25 हज़ार लोग यहाँ पे आते हैं हर साल और यहाँ पे एक मैसेज लेके जाते हैं कि नदी के किनारे पे हमें प्लास्टिक या दूसरे प्रदूषणकारी सामग्री नहीं डालनी चाहिए।
The festival started in 2012 with an objective of sensitizing the people about the ecological challenges faced by the river. Since then, traditional dance performances, poetry reading sessions, exhibitions, film shows and other cultural activities have also been part of the kite flying festival.
Scores of Hindu child seers have thronged India's northern Prayagraj city to take part in the ongoing world's largest religious gathering, the Kumbh Fair. The seers belong to a religious school where they are taught Hindu scriptures and trained to lead the life of an ascetic.
Scores of Hindu child seers, some of them even less than 8 years of age, have thronged India's northern Prayagraj city to take part in the ongoing Kumbh Fair, the world's largest religious gathering. The young sadhus or seers belonging to the Hindu religious school in India's spiritual capital of Varanasi have been performing yagnas or Vedic fire rituals amid the chanting of religious sermons. The child seers are taught Hindu scriptures, including Vedas, in the religious school, besides preparing them to lead the life of an ascetic.
हमें यहाँ पे भर्ती हुए 8 महीने हो चुके हैं और हम बालक रूप हैं साधु। हम सब लोग को अच्छा रास्ता बताते हैं। हम सब लोग को ज्ञान देते हैं। जो हमारे पास आता है उसका कल्याण हो जाता है। जो हम लोग इस वक्त यहाँ पे यज्ञ करवा रहे हैं।
ये बच्चे इनको बाल साधु हैं। ये धर्म को बढ़ाने के लिए इनसे बड़े बड़े दूर दूर से लोग काफ़ी आते हैं और बच्चों का ये वेद विज्ञान देख करके इनको आगे की ओर ले जाने की चेष्टा, ये बचपन से ही इनको इसी विभाग में डाल करके और बड़े स्तर पर इनको ले जाया जाता है।
The Kumbh Fair, which is more than 2,000 years old, is a meeting point for Hindu seers, some of whom live in forest or Himalayan caves and come out only during this period. The fair is traditionally held every 3 years in one of the 4 cities of Prayagraj, Haridwar, Ujjain and Nasik.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.